What do you think are some of the biggest challenges companies are facing today?
Well, obviously the easy answer is COVID, but it really goes back before that, and it's something we've talked about before. Is something that's referred to as scenario planning. How do you plan for the unknown, right? How do you make action plans, not knowing exactly what's coming down the pike, and that's something that scenario planning helps you with. Strategic planning kind of takes you from point A to point B. Scenario planning helps with that to say life doesn't go from point A to point B. Disruptions occur, right? COVID occurs, technology occurs, stuff that we would say in the human resource development world would say the external environment is one of the biggest predictors for the need for change. And it could be that technology, it could be a virus, it could be change in a political system. But when we look at change, the biggest thing is trying to plan for the unknowns, but also limit the resistance. So the question kind of came up in a meeting I was at is how did we just recently make such a massive change in the business world? How did we go from trying to figure out how to keep our doors open and now people are wearing masks and we're not used to that? And essentially that question comes down to if people understand the risks and if people understand the need for change, they're more willing to change, right? So you limit that resistance. So the key now is in the business world is how do you make change when you don't always have a pandemic to help make that change or foster that change? How do you educate your employees and your stakeholders to say we have to take this next step, and if we don't take this next step, this is probably what's going to happen to our organization. So essentially, for my business, when I was 15 and sold it a couple of years after that, we saw that technology was going to be a disruptor, right? So we knew we had to change. And we had a couple choices, and we picked a choice at that point we were going to sell and reinvest. If we would have stayed in the business and kind of put a blind eye to the technology, there would have been a very strong chance that we would have been bankrupt and didn't have any money to reinvest. So it really comes down to foresight, which is a scenario planning, and really comes down to getting your stakeholders to buy into the need for change.